actually going to get there actually, but I'm going to be at Fox Run Park, and it is a local community park. I just found out about a couple days ago actually. I went there for a pre-scouting trip. Never been there before. I really did not expect much out of the location, just because it is behind this elementary school, and it's like basically like a land lab essentially. So I really was not expecting too much out of it. I just thought it'd be some boring old woods or something, you know, with not too much trail. But you know, I was pleasantly surprised honestly with how much was actually there at the location. Wasn't too much of any kind of like, you know, kind of plant life, I guess, or even bird life. At least of biodiversity at least. But yeah, it was pretty good for what it is, and I feel like it might be great for a landscape shot. And so that's what I'm doing here. Is I'm leaving actually at evening, and with about, you know, an hour or two of daylight, and I am going to see if I can potentially take a sunset landscape shot, and hopefully that should go over well. At least I hope so, you know, for the most of it, because I had a nice clearing out of woods and trees with just some, you know, sparse growth and everything. So I'm hoping that this will actually be a good location for it. And so that's simply what I'm doing here. Is I'm going to drive there and see what I can really get from the location. But a little bit more information about it is that it was formerly named Southwest Community Park. It encompasses 20 acres total, and there's a circular kind of paved and mulched pathway or footpath, and that you know, just circles around the entire park with some mixed woods, you know, decent sized hill or two. So there's some minor elevation gain in terms of hiking, so it should look pretty nice overall. And so yeah, I'm really looking forward to the visit here. It's just gonna be a nice, easy kind of evening out, and I'm hoping to get just this one sunset landscape shot that I have in mind here. But you know, I'm gonna get here with just enough time before it gets really golden hour light, which looks like it's gonna really hold out, I hope, as long as this cloud bank doesn't really affect it too much. And then from there, yeah, just take the shots and pack it up and call it a day. So yeah, it's a nice simple visit out there. So I will see you in a bit when it gets to the location, and then we'll start filming and yeah, see what happens for the evening here. And so yeah, hoping for the best. We are here at Fox Run. So right out there, that's pretty much where my main idea for the shot is. But yeah, it's just really kind of gotten to be this really hazy kind of evening, it looks like overall, at least so far. You know, that could obviously change, and it has happened plenty of times, you know, when it comes to sunsets, where, you know, it doesn't really look too promising at first, but then it actually does change for the better, and there's some, you know, beautiful just rays of light or bursts of color or anything. So I'm holding out for the best, but you know, for now I'm just gonna hike these trails. There isn't too much trail overall, and just, you know, see what really happens. If there's any other photographs along the way, of course I'm going to stop and take those as well. But like I said, I'm mainly going to be keeping my eyes up to the sky and looking at the light there, and just seeing as it kind of changes over the next hour and a half. And yeah, just seeing what happens with it. And then yeah, really settling upon probably doing that open field landscape composition that I am, you know, so destined to get for this evening here, and for this now second visit to this location. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep going along here, and yeah, see you in a bit. So earlier when I mentioned that this park was really nothing special, what I meant by that was, particularly in the flora part of nature, is that yeah, it's just mainly overrun by a lot of invasive species, unfortunately, that really crowd out and overtake, you know, woodland forest floors like this, typically in, you know, this part of Southwest Ohio. And you know, they drive out all this other more diverse and more native flora that you may see. So mainly I'm seeing two species in particular. That would be golden ragwort or common ragwort, and several other names that it goes by, and then also Japanese honeysuckle, or just simply common honeysuckle. And so yeah, it's unfortunate, because those are two species that I see at a lot of these local you know, county park district parks that are owned by the city here, or just in, you know, in general. I see it in different kinds of areas, especially if they're not properly managed and controlled via herbicide and you know, other pest removal techniques to keep them from spreading simply. So yeah, it's a little unfortunate that I'm seeing them at least in this big of numbers here, but other than that, I mean, the views over here are pretty nice in this little woodland here, as you can probably see from the side here, and just seeing all there's tons of squirrels. I saw a cardinal just down there, but I'm just seeing the light and everything just pool out and spill through this entire woodland here. You know, it's pretty magnificent, it's pretty beautiful overall. And yeah, seeing it now. Light's really pulling through, so I'm really hoping this landscape shot works out pretty well. And if not, you know, that's okay too. But I actually may, if the open field doesn't really reward me with a good wide angle landscape like I'm envisioning, I actually may retreat to this as a last ditch effort, or like a last resort, and see if I can get a shot in here maybe. So really, you know, it's open to possibilities, and that's what I'm trying to do with this visit in particular, is to just be open to the way the lighting conditions work, and be open to planning opportunities, but not exactly always following through unless if there's a better or different photograph that I would be more opted to take here. And so anyways, I'm going up this hill now, and it's pretty decent incline for a small park like this, and it loops all the way back around and takes me out to the clearing, which is looks like it's just up ahead about less than 30 feet. So, you know, I'll see you in a bit, and I'll just keep making my way around. I'm gonna make one loop around this park, the entire park that is, and then I'll probably start settling down and start playing out my shot, since I've more than enough time here as we are starting to get to golden hour right now. So I'm really excited to get the shot and see what happens here. All right, so as I'm just photographing this this honeysuckle here, I'm really taking an appreciation for it. I mean, it's definitely not a species I want laying around my yard, or, you know, one that I particularly like seeing at a park like this, of course. But you know, it is beautiful in its own way, and taking this photograph made me these handful of photographs, really set of macro shots, is that, you know, I'm kind of learning to work with the subject despite its very I guess negative reputation, and just learning to simply appreciate it for what it is. So yeah, it's not the most beautiful, I guess, in that terms, but you know, it's pretty ornamental, and taking the macro shots, you know, it's been quite interesting, at least because I'm trying to learn more about the plant as I go along here, like simply seeing how it turns from like a white to a golden color, and then yeah, just seeing all these different leaves that, you know, situate on it. Looks like it's like a three-prong, actually it's like an opposite stemmed leaves, and they're very like oval shaped and everything, which is pretty interesting, I guess. And I'm just trying out different shots here, getting some with the pearly white, you know, the cleanest looking buds on the tree here, but also just doing some of the golden ones, I guess, and just everything in between, and just, you know, picking apart, like I do any kind of flower shot, is that simply picking apart the best bunch, in most cases at least, and then seeing simply what happens, and you know, just working with the, you know, the scene in front of the camera simply. So yeah, it's been working out pretty well so far. I've been enjoying the couple of shots I've gotten here, so let me talk you through a few settings here, and you know, we'll see what we got here. So I got one shot here of this is the first, I guess, composition you could call it, and this is like the pearliest of white ones. They happen to be the lowest on the tree, if that matters, or, you know, if that's just merely like a coincidence in this case. But you know, I just got them since they're perfectly eye level with my tripod. I'm just hanging out, you know, no sections extended or anything, but just having a nice standard upright position. Happen to be perfectly level with this part of the tree and the shrub here. And so, you know, I got an even histogram using f6.3, 60th of a second, and ISO 640, and just doing a remote timer helped out in this case, and you know, 2-second timer, I mean, and just using it to the best of my ability. And so I'm gonna take a handful of shots here, just experimenting with compositions, and then I may try something else here, but you know, we will see. And then I'm probably gonna settle upon finally showing you guys, revealing the landscape, and testing out some, you know, I guess, compositions that way. So I'll talk to you in a bit. And then honestly, since I have less than an hour left, about 15 minutes or so right now, I'm going to, you know, make sure I get there early and plan it out and get it all, you know, everything ready, because, you know, there is a pretty large tree line that's going to make this sunset, you know, run a little bit shorter than would be considered normal as it gets, you know, below the horizon line, of course. And so, you know, in actuality, it's almost like I have less amount of daylight, probably about 10-15 minutes less. So, you know, I better start planning out now and start, you know, moving around the camera, compositions, and tripod, like I keep saying, all that stuff. And then yeah, just seeing what, you know, simply could come up with here. I don't know, maybe we'll see a fox run across this field, because this is like an open field, kind of with some sparse trees, you know, just centered in between, and all the way around it. But it's a long tree line here, and here we are out here in the open. I don't know what this is. Like a little, let me see what the sign says over here. Oh, it's a butterfly garden. Ain't that something special? So it says Girl Scout Butterfly Garden. It's cool. So anyways, looks like I'm pretty too close here. But there's tons of trees over here, and I'm gonna see what I can do here. But honestly, this place looks like it'd be a nice place for a disc golf course. A nice place. I'm not exactly going to agree with it, but you know, it could be a nice place for that, honestly. Surprised they haven't done anything with it. But what if we did get a fox though? Literally a fox running, you know, through this field. Maybe like, ooh, like golden hour and silhouette. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. So never know, never know. But at that point, we're dreaming. So I'm gonna go ahead and position myself back over here and start experimenting with some test shots. Now that I finally got the honeysuckle, I feel like I've goofed off a little bit too much now, so I need to really focus and get ready for the shot that I've been waiting for here. So okay, so this really wasn't the shot that I was expecting to get, at least the thing I had in mind. That would actually be me pointing away from here, you know, the opposite direction. But there's something cool going on here. This is really cool, and I should probably really hurry up because I don't know how long the light quality I really have behind me here is, but it's casting this glow on this looks like a little small pine cone tree, very, very small one. It's about, looks maybe about my height, from at least I'm guesstimating from this distance here, but it's just got this beautiful, you know, glow that's just casting this light on it. And it's got this deep shadow that just extends beyond a couple feet away from it, behind it, at least from my position, and it's just hitting, you know, casting this entire glow along this tree line. And it actually looks really, really cool. And so I think this might be my first composition of the day, but I'm kind of envisioning maybe something like a small telephoto or something, at least focal length perspective. And yeah, I don't know though. It looks really cool though, so I don't know how much time I have, but I'm gonna see if I can just shoot it from right here, honestly. So this is pretty exciting actually. This part right here, I'm really thinking this might be worth something. So not to hurry and rush things up, because I am just trying to take my time and enjoy the night and the evening out here. But I'm gonna see if I can really get a shot here, and then if I can, if that'd be great, of course, and I'll talk you through the settings. If not, okay, that's so be it, and I'll talk about why maybe it didn't work. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and try the shot here before I lose the light. So I will talk to you in a bit. All right, so I took about 2 or 3 shots here, just, I guess you can call them test shots, but I mean, I'm just working the scene and seeing really what I like. I'm not doing too many drastic changes to it overall, but I am simply doing I think it's about 135 millimeter focal length, and on a small telephoto lens here. And I'm trying something, you know, around that range. I even did like 100 millimeters just to try it. There's 2 stands of trees that are, I guess you could say, framing up the composition just right, but I'm excluding them from the image simply because I just feel like that might be simply too distracting in this instance. So yeah, other than that, just seeing how the last light looks as it hits the top of that little pine cone tree. But I just feel like the problem maybe with the shot is that now that the brightest part of the image and it's illuminated in the background, is that simply that's going to be the part where everyone's going to be focusing on, you know, prospective viewers of the image. And it's kind of where I'm already focusing on, and I'm not sure if that's a really good or bad thing, because I do want all that focus to be centered onto that pine cone tree, that small little pine tree. And maybe that might be something in post-production I may experiment with, simply doing some dodging and burning. So I may burn out just slightly, ever so slightly, that background there, and then just lighten up, I guess, would be the not so illuminated tree, because it really does look like it's just getting the top of that tree, unfortunately. So, you know, this is one instance of maybe like just letting the, like I said, planned opportunities and trying out as I see the lights changing, and just trying out different, you know, different lighting combinations, and just seeing how this small pocket of light, as the sun's peering through this very hazy sunset so far, or a very hazy golden hour light, and just seeing how it's hitting. As you can see, nothing else is really illuminated, at least on this lower canopy in the understory here of the woods. But then again, you just get this beam of light just hitting right behind that tree there. So that's really what caught my eye from afar over there, and it's really, I guess, the sole reason I really came over here and was trying out this shot here. And so I'm really seeing, oh man, it's fading away really fast now, unfortunately. And so I guess my window of opportunity here is pretty much squandered at this point. But I did have a polarizer filter on, and I was trying to, you know, underexpose it by just a, you know, half a stop or so of light. So I had about ISO 400. I was exposing a little bit more to the tree there, because I found the tree to actually be the most even exposed part of the scene here. If I exposed for the brightest part, like say the background where, you know, all the golden hour light was on, then that means it might compensate pretty much and make it so it'd be a really overall dark scene. But I think what I actually like about this most at the moment, now I'm looking at it again on the live view mode here and on my image playback, is that the side where the tree is on is it's actually a very dark and deep and shadowed kind of part of the image, because it's actually a fair bit distance away from that bright part onto what would be the right side of the image as you're viewing it. And so, you know, I might like that little duality of color there where it's bright to dark. But the problem is that the dark is on the tree side, and I'm not too sure if I like that. Because I'm using a telephoto lens here, it's going to compress more distance. But that's honestly the first inclination I had when I saw this moment right here. So the light's really fading away now, unfortunately. So I guess the opportunity's over. But you know, I was trying out that different, you know, that shot idea, and that might be the one thing that, you know, really keeps this image from being good to great. I don't know. It really just depends. And I'm at f10, so like I said, I did want to compress that distance a little bit more. And keep everything kind of in focus there. I didn't want it to be too much blur, even though it is at 135 millimeters, and that focal length perspective shouldn't really matter in this case, I think, overall. And then I was at 1/10 of a second, which on a tripod, like I said, mounted on there, and a 2-second timer. There's like pretty much no wind right now; it's non-existent, so I don't have to worry about any of those leaves rustling about on the trees there in the distance. And so yeah, it pretty much just solves that problem, I guess. But yeah, it's a neat little image. This might be a fun little just shot to, since I really didn't plan on getting the shot tonight. It might be a neat little shot to just experiment with on the computer and just have some fun with post-production. Try something really artsy and creative with it. It doesn't really have to be so, you know, caught up in reality, I think, in this instance. Since this is more of like a fun kind of abstract-y fine art landscape shot, I guess. At least what I'm envisioning. So maybe messing around with doing something like a really harsh vignette or something, that could be kind of fun to, you know, just mess around with. Because who said, you know, a photograph had to be entirely realistic too? So I feel like in this case, you know, I'm just going to try out, you know, what I just mentioned there simply. So all right, so I rambled enough about that, but you know, I did get a couple shots fired off there, and I think they turned out pretty well for what it is. So now I'm setting my eyes back on this, but I don't feel like it's going to work out tonight, unfortunately. So maybe another trip I have to come back here and see what I can come up with, simply because it's just such a hazy light, very, very hazy looking, and it's it's at the top of the tree line over there in the distance, and I don't know if it's really going to come back in full force, but you know, it might. And I got about 35-ish minutes is what I'm anticipating of daylight left. So we will see. On that note, I'm going to go ahead and start moving around some more, and maybe start refocusing my attention at least onto the rest of that. But for now, it looks like the shot's done, and the light will never come back in the same way, as dramatic as that sounds. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and see what I can do here about this. If not, you know, the shot could be really cool, and I still got that honeysuckle shot, of course. And so yeah, so can't complain. And if not, I can go up on that hill, like I said, at the woodland, and try something in there. Is if the light's hitting it, which looks like it might not be by now, since it's really dark over there and deep in shadow inside that woodland there, right in the midst of it. So yeah, I talked enough. I'm going to shut up now, and I'm going to just have a wander about and see what else I can get for the night in terms of photographs. So I will talk to you in a little bit. I don't know what I'm going to do here. I mean, I don't know. I can't really do much here. It's such a bummer. I just was expecting such a more like plentiful, fuller sunset. But I should have known better on the drive here when I saw just that big cloud bank rolling in, as I said at the beginning of the video here on my drive here. And you know, I kind of really can't really say I'm surprised, I guess, because it is just this hazy thing of a sunset, as you can see behind me here. And so yeah, it's a little bit of a bummer, just because I had this envision of this just, you know, beautiful sunlight just, you know, just lathering, I guess, lavishing this entire woodland here. And I'm really not getting any of that, unfortunately. And it's a little bit of a bummer. And there is about 20 minutes left of daylight, at least from my position over here. And I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, honestly. So it's kind of sucks. But you know, I'm gonna hang around here a little bit longer. Still has some daylight, even though it is not really beautiful sunlight like I was hoping for. And I'm gonna see what I can do here for a potential shot. But if not, you know, I've got a couple other different shots, like that macro, and then this landscape one. Maybe I should just do a bird one too to complete the trifecta, I guess. I don't know. But oh, I know what I'll do. I'll do some abstracts. Yeah, I'm gonna do some abstracts, honestly. At this point, you might as well just try out something, experiment, have fun, be creative with it. I think that's the goal with this trip. You know, like I said a little bit ago, plan opportunities, and so far looks like this opportunity that I had when I was driving here isn't quite going to pan out, unfortunately. But you know, I am going to try out this other opportunity that is laid before me and work with the sea in front of me. And yeah, I'm going to try some intentional camera movement, so I'm going to try that now. All right, so the crash course on taking ICM abstracts now, you know, I'll give a disclaimer, I guess, now, is that the way I take them, there's no right or wrong way. It's purely a creative, like, artistic form of photography. Well, most photography is, essentially, but in this instance, it very much so is. And so everyone does them differently, the people that do enjoy taking them. And so as such, you know, take what I say, I guess, in my settings as worth a grain of salt, because this is just how, this is particularly one style that I prefer to take of these kind of abstracts. So I was at about settings of, I pretty much like to, my most desirable aperture is to get the largest f-stop number, and that would be the most smallest, narrowest aperture. And so I was at about f29 using the small telephoto lens, which goes all the way, stops down all the way to f32. And so, you know, I found it to work out the best for this instance. I don't really need to stop down to 32, but I guess I could have. But anyways, I was at ISO 400 because I did want enough light in there, but I personally do not like my my abstract compositions to be too noisy, and so I don't really like to use a higher IF or higher ISO number than that. So other than that, using a shutter, which really everything's in the shutter, and of course your physical movements, however you may so choose to do those. And so I was at about 30th of a second, which means, you know, combining with my physical movements, like I'm saying, is really going to create, you know, the abstract idea and the shot in mind that you may have. And so I actually found that I was really underexposing the entire scene, and so any of those green trees in the background there in the tree line, as I'm pointing off way in the distance behind me here, were really just essentially black. They just essentially dropped out of any kind of light from them and became very, very dark looking, which actually I think it looks pretty cool. That's a sunset kind of creative blur I've done in the past, and so it left all the really color to be left to allocated basically to the pastoral kind of blues and the orange color of the sunset sky as it is now setting. And so yeah, I feel like it worked out pretty well, and yeah, I really liked how they turned out. But like I said, that's just one way that I take the abstract shots. You know, there's other people that do different things, or there's even people that do them on, you know, tripods and stuff. This is one form of photography and genre where I like to do it handheld, most desirably, and so that's what I did in this case. But you know, with that being said, I feel like that's it for the day. So I guess my creative battery is a little bit drained, and you know, I've gotten some good shots today, good variety of things in the short amount of time I was here at this community park. And yeah, I enjoyed my time out here taking all these different photo opportunities essentially. And so with that being said, the trail just ends a little bit up the hill here, and we'll say our parting words for the night here. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. This has been Fox Run Park, and until next time, make sure to get out here. Thank you.